Dave, just going back to, I guess the efficiencies or inefficiencies of the market, I think a lot of people would look at Nvidia's price action of the last year and say, how efficient can the market be if you have a $1 trillion company, tripling in a year? And then other people might say that's the market being efficient because the market's pricing in, future growth of the company and revenue increasing. Where would you kind of stand, I guess, on that viewpoint of just looking at, again, Nvidia's stock price over the last year? Is this a sign of the market being efficient, or do you think a sign of inefficiencies?
I think it's a great question, and it's a really hard one to answer. I mean, if you look at Nvidia, and Dennis, I have had this conversation a couple of times too. Like, if you look at the forward PE, it's not crazy, but it's pretty high. But it's nothing insane. How much of a difference does sort of what we're talking about make? And I would say it makes a significant difference to individuals who are trying to buy Nvidia through their retail brokers. And it's every time you buy, it's costing you more than you should. From a price, but I think what you're talking about is price discovery, and you're saying, is the market efficiently finding the right price for this stock? And when you look at that chart, I mean, when I personally look at the chart, I find it hard to believe that that is not a bubble that will at some point come off. But
It's a scary looking chart.
it's a scary looking chart, and it looks like a blow off top, and it looks like everything you would think that you pull every comparison to the .com charts, and you see very similar things. And I think from an AI perspective, personally, I think AI is quite overhyped, and we're going to run into some real issues and already have. And it's sort of just like the shiny new thing at the moment, and it might eventually revolutionize everything. That is absolutely true, but I don't think we're there at all from a technological perspective. And so, I do think that if you have a market in which liquidity is not as robust and diverse as it can be, and everyone piles into the same trade, you can end up with something like this, in which the price discovery mechanism becomes, kind of fundamentally broken. And then who knows where it will end up eventually. Once things sort of, the market tends to catch up, right? And it tends to figure things out. And short term it can do anything, but long term it tends to be reasonable. So, I'm not optimistic about the way the market is operating today, given what I know about sort of the microstructure of it, as well as sort of what I know about AI, and what these companies are being valued at. But
Yeah.
someone just said, sounds like this guy doesn't own Nvidia. I sure do, man. And it's been great.
Did you sell your Nvidia yet? Have you sold
I've
any?
I've not. I've
He's
not.
had Nvidia actually the whole way up.
And I'm thrilled that I did. But it's hard because I tend to. It's almost like crypto. So I almost look at this like I look at crypto. Every time I've sold crypto, I've been wrong.
Just don't
And
sell.
you're right. I bought my first Bitcoin at $2 a Bitcoin, and I of course sold it. So
Wow. I thought
yeah.
I was early. I thought I was early at 400.